Otto Warmbier, the young American student who recently returned home after being released by North Korea, has died of brain damage. This comes a week since he was freed from a detention center in the regime. He was in a coma when he reached U.S. soil. It's now looking likely President Donald Trump will seek tougher actions against the reclusive state. Soo-young has the full story.
The death of an American student detained for 17 months in North Korea has triggered outrage among U.S. officials, giving rise to speculation that Washington will get tougher on the regime. Just days after 22-year-old Otto Warmbier was returned to the U.S. with severe brain damage, his parents announced his passing on Monday afternoon. They believe their son's critical condition and death were caused by what they call the awful torturous treatment he'd received under the North Korean regime after it sentenced him to 15 years of hard labor for allegedly stealing a political poster from a hotel while on holiday. Upon hearing the news, President Trump condemned the brutality of the North Korean regime, saying that it does not respect the rule of law or basic human decency. He said in a statement that the tragedy has deepened his government's determination to prevent similar incidents in the future. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson also spoke out against Pyongyang, saying that the U.S. holds it accountable for Warmbier's unjust imprisonment. He also demanded the release of the 3 remaining Americans illegally detained in the north. Officials from both the left and right joined in the condemnation, accusing the regime of murder on top of its threat to global security. Observers believe Warmbier's death could prompt Washington to take stronger measures against Pyongyang and its nuclear and missile programs. The Secretary of State has already suggested a ban on Americans traveling to the north. And with the annual diplomatic and security talks between Washington and Beijing set to take place on Wednesday, the Secretary Department's acting Assistant Secretary Susan Thornton said upping pressure on North Korea will be at the top of the agenda. She says the U.S. will seek cooperation with Beijing, urging it to fulfill all UN Security Council sanctions and exert its influence on the regime. Soo-young, Arirang News.